Just add more folks to join. This should be a fairly quick demo. Nothing quite yet that is too substantial. We're going to show you guys exactly how to run the schedule cold key swap request. One quick update here is that we are going to be releasing it on testnet first. So actually, it's already live on testnet. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that right now. Just need a little practice, and then tomorrow will be the full mainnet launch. So
Yeah,
while we're waiting on a few more folks. Oh, hey, Const.
as Ship said, yeah, hey, as Ship said, am I coming through here? Well,
Yep.
as Ship said, we're going to actually push the actual upgrade to mainnet until tomorrow, so that people can both test this mechanism on testnet and see the arbitration complete and be successful by this time tomorrow. We just really don't want people to mess this up. Because if you were to do it twice or call it incorrectly, you can arbitrate your keys for a long period of time. So bear with us with the delay here. So the chain is not going out of safe mode until tomorrow. Yeah, if that's the question. So, but before we do that, we want to help everybody here get up to speed on how the actual thing works. Like download it on their computers, install it from Python, run a call on testnet. You won't be able to call it on mainnet, and then exactly install it from Python tomorrow. So run a call on 5 p.m. EST. That we'll do the actual opening. Yeah, apologies to people that are here just for that particular update, but we thought this was the safest and most responsible way for us to do this, given the complexity. So the Thursday deadline is then extended until Friday. It's only a single day change here. Because it's going to be 24 hours until the next date. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. And again, apologies for the anticlimactic nature of this particular call. We will be releasing instructions though, and if we think this is definitely the safer way for everyone, we are moving very quickly. You know, candidly, we're trying to move as quickly as we can on all these branches, and we just don't want to make any friggin' errors. So anyways, without further ado, Ella, let's go.
Yeah, nicely done, Cons. Thank you. The one thing I want to also stress here is that it's better to do this safer than just do it faster. And so this is why we've sort of taken this somewhat slower approach. So as Cons said, without further ado, what we're going to be doing today is I'm just going to be demoing to you guys how to use this tool. Effectively, this tool is used to schedule a swap to your from your old cold key to your no cold key, and your old cold key being the potentially at-risk cold key to a brand new cold key you're creating. You have to specify the new cold key address for this. So it's very, 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 very advised that you just create a brand new cold key from scratch. And effectively, what we'll be showing in this demo is basically just how to use it and how it's going to run and what it's going to look like in doing so. And then I'm going to answer any questions further to that. So without further ado, let me share my screen with you guys. A few moments here. Okay, just making sure. Can you folks see my screen? You take that as a yes? Just a few yeses would be good. Cool. Awesome. So for this demo, I've got a cold key that I've named Tanzania. This key has about 88 TAO in it and it's at risk, so I'll move it over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the cold key swap method. Now, if we look at quickly the balance of this cold key...
Wait, before we continue, Ella, Tanzania, that's one of your old wallets?
No, it's just the same name. It's not the same wallet.
Okay. That's like a 2021 wallet.
It's extremely old, but it's been regenerated through the ages. So
okay. Anyway, sorry, I won't interrupt again.
No, not at all. So just to make sure everyone's aware, when you constantly correct me if I'm wrong here. When you do move over your cold key, what's going to happen is it's basically going to tie your delegations and your hotkeys to that new cold key. So you need to move the rest of those. However, if you do have a compromised hotkey, you're going to have to swap that later on. So for the time being, what we're going to be showing is basically just a cold key that is going to have some TAO in it. We can even delegate that TAO during this demo, and then we're going to basically schedule that move over. I just want to show you guys the steps. So without further ado, let's see. If we do wallet balance, let's see here. Always specify subtensor network here because it's important to do that so you know you're actually on the test net. And we'll go from there. Sorry, if the keyboard's too loud, please let me know. I can switch it up. So this is the free balance I've got. This is my stake balance. And effectively what I can do just for the purpose of the demo, I could probably stake this pretty easily or delegate it actually. Let's see. A tensor network is test. This is going to load all delegates. Just delegate to whatever one we want to delegate to. Let's take all of it. It's going to require a password, of course. I would love to show you guys my little paper password that I've got, but probably shouldn't do that. We're all very aware of this. That should be fine. Sounds real good. Okay, no worries, not a problem. So instead we're going to do is just we're going to move it over.
You forgot your password.
I don't think I forgot it. It's very possible something else happened. What's up, guys? I have no idea.
No, you forgot your password.
It's already staked and everything, I believe. Let's see here.
Yeah, don't worry about this, Alex. I would just go and throw the just call the relevant. Just call the relevant one.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it's literally the same as most of the calls that you make. It's just wallet schedule cookie swap, and it's a subtensor network equals test. And let's see what happens here. The wallet name we can say is this one because I played with this before. The new SS58 cold key address, you can just grab of your new cold key they've created.
Send it to me.
Send it to you. You know what's gonna be funny is because I've already tried this. It's gonna be interesting to show this because we've already moved schedule this on this one. If we send it to another key, what would happen here, Const? Let's say that I've done this twice. One to one key, one to another key. So that people can
that's gonna create the arbitrage situation.
Exactly. It's gonna create an arbitrage, right? So should we try that? See what that happens, or should we just send it back to the same one? Make two of the same call?
Sure. Someone give a key into the chat. Ala will give you all his funds on testnet.
I'll send you all my funds. Just go for it. Send me your key. First key gets quickly.
It. Your key is 5. Oh, there you go. Sai got it. Size first.
Nice. Thank you,
Sorry, Mog. You're broke. Yeah, there you go. So let's look at this here, guys, on the screen. So okay, so this is really important for us to see the warning here. So Ala has already scheduled a cold key swap with Bosnia on the testnet. And because he's already done that with this wallet, it throws this error, or it's actually a disclaimer. The key will enter arbitration, which means that somebody else has already done it, namely himself in this particular case, because he did it earlier as a test. So, okay. Sorry. Ben is correcting me. Sorry. This is the next morning will be sent. So apologies. Yeah. So this is just always there. So go ahead, Ella.
That's up. Failed to call, please just specify value. Whoops. I'm having trouble with passwords today. Apologies, folks. Do this again. We'll use size key. Okay. It says already has detected there has been a swap request made for this key previously. By proceeding, you will understand that this will initiate arbitration for your key. And basically, we'll double check for you. So if you get this message and you haven't done this before, then likely there has been a swap request. Well, 100% there's a swap request for your key, likely by the attacker if there was one. But fingers crossed. Hopefully nobody gets this message. And so it's going to basically ask, do you want to schedule this swap anyways? You can say yes. And then what's going to happen is this is, again, feel free to correct me here if I'm wrong, Const. It's a little proof of work.
It's solving a proof of work. So yeah, it's solving a proof of work. So the way that we need, so potentially the attacker does this and they do it again 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 with everybody's keys. And so we need protection against the hash here. Ala, you've actually turned it down to 10 million here for the demo, but you can't do that because the next proof of work, as I was saying, should actually be higher. 35 million. It should be 35 million. So what we're seeing on the screen is actually the difficulty is not high enough. And that's because you should change it.
No problem. I'll change it right now so we can fix this up and keep going.
Yeah. So every time this call gets called for a specific cold key, the proof of work is going to double. And this puts protections for us against people DOSing the chain, and also for an attacker trying to block you out of the active set. They need to solve n times n minus 1 over n proof of works, each one getting larger, doubling every time. Actually, that's not the correct equation. It's somewhat more than that. It's an exponential version of that. So they have to double the number of the proof of work that they do every time. Eventually, they can't fill the slots for everyone, but we can. So that helps protect the chain from a DOS. And this was something that we were working on early. Yeah. So he's got 35 million here. This is the next level of proof of work that we're solving. This is going to take a little while. If people have questions about this,
Feel
if you
free.
don't understand this, don't worry. You don't need to understand what a proof of work is. You don't need to understand how the doubling occurs. You just need to know that you're going to have to solve this POW on your computer. In the event that the attacker is using some sort of GPU farm, we're going to need to get help from people probably to unlock your funds, but that's possible. Hey, BitTensor used to do a lot of PAO in the past. So we have people here that can help us all across the stack to do serious proof of works.
Quick question for you, Cons. Now, if let's say that a lot of people are doing the transfers, but they, for one reason or another, the attacker is not actually doing anything. It's just people sending cookies through. There's no actual arbitration going through. Would the PAO get changed, or would the PAO still stay at 10 million?
No, it'll only be 10 million for you. So most
Okay,
people
so
will
PAO
just
is
be 10 million.
individualized. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it will only be 10 million for most people. I mean, in the worst case scenario, you might have it 35 million or higher.
Okay, that makes sense.
Arash says, could the exploiter stop a person from being able to get a request through by spamming the increasing difficulty? So in order for them to, basically what happens is there's a runoff where the attacker would need to solve every proof of work doubling over time continuously before you were able to solve even one. So they need to fill every slot. You just need one slot. So you have a huge advantage, if that makes sense. Like imagine you're filling up the seats of a stadium, and he wants to make it so that there's no seats available for you. Every time they fill a seat in the stadium, they have to solve a proof of work, which is doubly as expensive as the previous seat. He has to solve all seats in the stadium, doubling every time, but you just need to solve one. So that makes the difficulty for you a lot smaller, and therefore, and he also they have to do this across many different seats, right? So they have to do this for everybody they're attacking. Even if they're focusing on just a single individual or a single wallet, it would be ridiculous.
It would effectively be far too expensive, I believe, to keep doing this.
Yeah. AI choice says, if I have 5 cold keys on one server, would the doubling still occur? No, it's just per cold key. Why can the chain not put back safe mode
It's already in safe
now
mode.
and then
You
roll out
taking
the
out of
swap
safe mode.
functionality tomorrow?
Like there's a
We just
misunderstanding.
haven't. Yeah. No. We could actually put the chain out of firewall right now. We're just doing things in order here. We have a plan. We're trying to make sure we're following through the plan. I hope you guys have patience with us. We're just trying to make sure that we don't do things out of order and cause issues. So this POW for most people's computers will take a little while, as you can see on Ala's screen. He's doing 35 million. It's not going to take too long. It's probably be in a couple minutes. It'll go through. Yes, you can solve a proof of work on your Mac for sure.
and done.
Cool. Right. So everyone saw that process. This is the process that you would go through, successfully schedule the cold key swap. Yeah. And
This
dumb
one you can
question: what if the
ignore.
POW fails? It won't fail. It won't fail, Alex. Like we've been doing POWs at BitTensor for a long time. So what is the current block number, and when can we see the chain state, please? She will be able to see the chain state tomorrow. Yeah. Would a
The other thing
GPU
I wanted to
expedite
add
this
here.
POW? Yes, it would. You can actually do kata enabled if you would. It's really actually just a single additional command line argument to do kata based.
So if we do this again, we should see that it's an arbitration. Am I right?
You should see that it's in arbitration. This would be
Let's try that.
the worst thing to see. If you see this arbitration, it means that you're an idiot or you've been attacked. And by idiot,
I
I'm
am
sorry,
both.
but no, not you, Al. But like if you swapped it for the same cold key twice, we really do not do this because it will be a pain in the ass for us to work overtime and arbitrate all these.
The key is currently
And
in
perhaps you will
arbitration.
just
See how the
and it what TAO will be needed of the cold key swap. So you need to have at least one TAO in the cold keys balance or on the stake of the cold key. Sorry, captured for history. You were in it. Sorry, guys, that's really bad. May we be able to schedule key swap for keys on the same targeted key, cold A to cold, new cold, and cold B to new cold? You can do that, yes. You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. Are there
so
transaction
just as
fees?
a heads up.
There's no transaction fees. There's just a proof of work, and then yeah. That
So I
was
wanted to add,
why. Yeah.
if you see this error, this is just a multi-processing error. So this is something you can ignore. Because I'm certain people will be messaging like, oh, did this go
Yeah.
through? Did something happen? This went through. It's just a
Yeah.
multi-processing error,
Yeah.
which we could probably mute later on. Apologies, Degradee. It's a warning, not an error.
As Ben44NTJ says, it becomes a race between the attacker and the cold key owner. If the actual owner does not have a GP farm, he is not able to do the swap. Well, assuming that these are the top wallets, there's a lot of reason. So first of all, the attacker can never get the funds. So the attacker is just spending an exorbitant amount of money for no reason because they'll never be able to get the root network to vote on their keys. So even if they fill up all the slots and they solve these massive POWs, and they solve the POW for every seat in the stadiums, as I was saying, even if they were to choose to do that, they're not going to get the funds. Whereas on your part, you're going to get the funds. And so it makes a lot more sense for you to actually, go out of your way and maybe get access to a GPU farm. If that does happen, please reach out to us. We can help you. There are people in here in the Discord that have had GPU farms in the past, and we've had to deal with that. With registered miners, you still keep your miners registered. It's just underneath the new key. Once we swap a cold key, the linked hotkeys will follow and become attached to the new cold key. That is true. Yeah, I hope the attacker tries to do the POW. I really, really doubt that they will. Really, 100%. They're not going to do that. More likely than anything, and the reason why we're having this call today and not opening the chain is that people just make really big errors here and use the same key twice, and that they're likely to get their own keys arbitrated. So just make sure you're paying attention to this video. Watch it after if you need to. Just the one thing to worry about is just not to send this wallet scheduled cold key swap twice from your wallet to a different key. How would the hotkeys be moved to a new cold key? Would we regenerate them using mnemonics under the new cold key? For Social Tensor IO, you can actually just copy and paste from the wallets directory of BitTensor. You can also do regens. Both of those work. Can you explain how the Senate voting will work for keys in arbitration? As soon as the initial 72 hours elapses for your key, it immediately goes into an arbitrated state where it becomes a proposal that people can vote on. As soon as people have voted within inside of the Senate, more than a certain quorum size. Right now, that quorum size is not determined. It could be maybe say like 50%, for instance. As soon as 50% of them vote on your specific key from within inside of that proposal, then the thing is drained and you get to swap to your key. So it becomes an immediate proposal on the chain that can be watched by everyone and voted upon by the Senate.
So in order to schedule the cold key swap, the new cold key needs 1 TAO. No, you would need at least 1 TAO in your old cold key to swap out. The new cold key can be blank.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to have 1 TAO.
Yeah. Exactly. How is the information transferred? I'm not sure what's meant by that, Arash. Can you give me some more color? Can you please allow the serving Axon functions tomorrow, or is there a security issue with allowing them alongside the wait setting? That's a very good point, Lord Nadith. That we can actually allow that. That's a very good point. We had previously whitelisted that because there's no registrations tomorrow. Blacklisted that, but I suppose maybe that's useful for other miners. Yeah, a lot of people stop their miners exactly, so they want to reserve their axons. That totally makes sense. Are we going to be interview? Are we going to be interview for the voting? Yeah, if there is a voting process, we really hope there is not many. Then you will have to work here in the Discord to reach some sort of social cohesion and consensus amongst the other members of the community. What is the information that is moved from the compromised wallet to the new wallet to ensure that everything continues to run smoothly for the SN owner? So for the subnet owner, the whole subnet ownership is moved to the new cold key. There's no information lost on the chain. We move every map that has your cold key in it. You don't lose if you were a validator. You don't lose delegations. You still remain the owner of the validator. The only thing that has to be manually changed is actually the delegates JSON, which is used throughout and by a number of people. This is going to be somewhat tedious to change because you have to submit another. If you do the swap, you have to submit another delegates JSON. However, we really want to use this opportunity to switch to on-chain identities. We recommend that when you swap, you use the new on-chain identities mechanism, which is BTCLI wallet identity, set identity, because we want to move people away from using this delegates JSON GitHub in the first place. So please do that. And what if all your TAO on the wall is staked? Yeah, it all goes with you. So don't worry. You keep your hotkey stake. Do you need the 1 TAO to be on the old key or the new key? You need the 1 TAO to be either on the key's balance or on one of the keys that you're staking to that you own. So it's just in your staking account with some hotkey. Though, isn't the validator's funds stuck on the hotkey? How will the validator cold key with 0 funds since it was drained perform this? Never mind, you just answered this. Thanks, Nemery. Wow, you just made me answer. Read that again. Will there be a specific time limit for the Senate voting? No, actually, it's just continual. Senate decided on the voting prioritization, large holding keys. It's actually up to us as a community what the prioritization is because it's not like it's a queue. It's just they all exist at the same time. What about already drained wallet that has 0.5 TAO? Good point, Grado. I think perhaps maybe we should lower the limit then for that. That's a very good point, Ella. Perhaps the limit of 1 TAO is too high.
Yeah, we can bring it down.
What will the actual voting system be? A poll in Discord. We will need to cross that bridge when we get there. BT guy, we're not totally sure. Esek, I appreciate if you sent me the details of that key and how much TAO you have over there. Perhaps we can also just whitelist specific subnet owners and validators. That would just be maybe the simplest way to do that. Exactly. So we will just probably whitelist specifically subnet owners in that particular process. That's a good point. I'm really glad we had this call because you guys are bringing up a lot of good points here. Things that would have been probably a bit annoying on the mainnet. We had done a chain upgrade for that specific purpose. So thank you so much, Grado. We need to create a new cold key to then swap to the old cold key. Swap the old cold key to this new cold key just to confirm the process. Yes, you just create a new wallet. You can even use like the BitTensor extension. I mean, heck, if you wanted to, you can make it an exchange wallet. I probably wouldn't do that. That's probably a really bad idea, actually. But you could make it a Polkadot.js wallet. You can use Subkey, Nova Wallet, whatever. You can use anything. You can use BTCLI. You can use an old wallet that you know is secure from a long time ago, for instance, that you haven't touched in a while. As long as it's something that you think is secure, would be probably the only thing that matters. It's actually the only thing that matters. Instant cold key, ref asks, instant cold key swap still scheduled to be released this week? No. We took your suggestion, ref, and I don't think we're going to release it this week. It's not a high priority. Unless there's people here that would require that. I don't think they do, honestly. Like, you can just transfer. If you're going to wait until Friday, you can just transfer, and we're not going to turn that down. So in a nutshell, create a new wallet, schedule a cold key swap. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, please never release it, ref says. Perhaps you're right. But we should never allow it for anybody but validators and subnet owners, because those groups specifically need that cold key to rotate, and they can't do it otherwise. Are all scheduled swaps executed the same time right before chain opens on 72 hours after it is already initially triggered? No, it is the swaps are executed 72 hours. Yeah. Oh, actually, I guess that's true. Right. Are all scheduled swaps executed at the same time right before? No. Sorry. I was previously correct. Yes. We wait 72 hours from the moment when you called the operation. So if you waited a day, the swap would actually execute a day after Saturday. I have 100 keys. Don't ask why. Testing. Do you foresee any issues with large number of hotkeys to transfer from one cold key to another? No, we don't. We think that that's not going to be a weight issue on the chain, and it's fine. Correct me if I'm wrong. So even if the attacker has the cold key mnemonic, they are not capable of controlling it, because after a successful swap, it no longer can be controlled by the original key. Absolutely. Yeah. It is completely moved. So if the hacker,
I'm saying you're faster than me. I was just answering that.
So if the hacker does this before me, Timo answers. Well, if they do it before you, then it goes into arbitration, and we have that runoff where the Senate has to pick between the two. Yeah. I've been out of the loop for a while, so excuse my lack of knowledge at the moment, but did the upgrade occur that brings liquidity pools to subnets for project tokens? No, it did not. TAO is not launched. There's some new news on that, actually. It's really exciting, but this happened before I could do that. If they are just testing accounts, can I ask why do you want to? Okay, that's for formalized. Is it possible to have an additional, say, 24-hour window of closed registrations after Friday for validators, miners to perform the necessary hotkey swaps, updates, and restarting of the neutrons? That's cool. I love that. We should call them neutrons.
Just add a T.
That's a good suggestion. We'll think about that one. If there is a scheduled cold key swap and the chain opens, are transfers frozen on that cold key until it is swapped to a new cold key? Yes, of course. Yeah. So they can't just get in there on Friday and beat you to it. What is we have zero tau? What if we have zero tau before the chain stopped, but miners mined some tau when the chain was halted? Are we able to swap the cold key? Yes, probably. The mint is 1 tau. Do you blacklist the addresses after successful swap so that this address can't be active anymore? We don't do that. Just requires a lot of on-chain memory that we probably don't want to use. But maybe just don't send back to that cold key. You know, I would like to make sure my BTC is not compromised again. Can you share a code signature or something similar? Would someone please answer that question in the chat? There's numerous ways of checking to see if your BTC is compromised, and also of checking to see which version of BitTensor you're using. And also note that when you're using this tool that we're looking at right now, Allah has installed it from source, so we're not even using
Yep,
pip, and therefore there's zero chance that it has the exploit.
that's correct. But you
Yeah,
can still
from
check your
source.
version using that pick show BitTensor that version. It'll tell you what version you're using at the moment. Right now I'm at 7.3, so you're good to go. It's just to give you guys something to use. This is usually a
Is the
local one
foundation
right
working
now.
with law enforcement to locate, persecute, and recover stolen funds? There are actually a lot of people working with law enforcement, Secret Service agents, Interpol. I think there's a pretty high probability that the people are going to get caught, but I won't say anything on that. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, would be great if you guys could once again confirm if someone who has only used the web wallet, iOS wallet, does not need to do this cold key swap. And like a broken record, I will say you do not need to do. Confirmed 500 million thousand times. You do not need to. May want to also just set your firewall to block all outbound track. Yeah, I mean, sure. For those super users that know how to do that, that's a good idea. Yep. So anyone uses the 24-hour, 72-hour hold via the cold key swap will not be able to get funds after the chain reopens if they delay using the new swap tool. This should be a double emphasis on don't use it if you don't need to. Exactly. So it's gonna delay your keys, your wallets for 72 hours, no matter what. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think, what do you think, Cost? Should we kind of wrap up here? Get back to work? Or should
Uh,
we kind of move on?
well, there's a couple more questions. At the risk of sounding slightly irrelevant, I like that. That's interesting. I've noticed that removing the cached version of 6.12.2 has so far not been a part of OTS recommendations. There are recommendations about finding the cached version and upgrading, but I'm worried that the cached version would still pose a threat to people who don't explicitly remove it. For example, if they're running a downgraded version, upgrade to the cached version in the future. Could you please recommend that people remove the cached version, or if not, give a good reason why not? I mean, I think delete it. We didn't want people to delete it initially because we wanted to let them know. We thought it was more important for them to know that the thing had been installed and be useful. But yeah, go nuke that thing. Nuke the whole cache. Delete your computer. Throw it off a cliff. If a cold key swap reaches this race arbitrage state where a vote by the Senate is needed, then what prevents the hacker to use other hacked Senate cold keys to vote through his swap? For these particular votes, if those keys are in arbitrage, they're not counted in the top 12. So a senator cannot vote with an arbitraged key. So that just limits that, assuming that they actually run this key. Yeah. Please do not run sudo rm -rf tilde all. Do not do what Formalize typed into the chat. Absolutely. That will destroy your computer. Guys, that's really, 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 really bad. Please do not call that function that was put in the chat here. Formalize, can you remove that? That would destroy people's lives. So the transfer happens 72 hours after you execute it. If I do it tomorrow on the dot at 5 p.m., I will have access to my cold keys basically when the chain goes back up again. Exactly. Yeah. Harash, thank you. Someone will run this. Evil, chaotic, evil. Yeah. La -di -da. no more real questions here. Everyone's just trying to hack each other's computers.
Very fun, very open tensor like. It's good to hear.
Great. So I think that, yeah, TAO stats is recording. What version of BitTensor do we need to execute this? You need the specific branch, protected branch from BitTensor source that is in the announcement. So take a look at that. The instructions are in the code snippet is there for you. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right. All right. I think that's it. Let's end it here then. Great, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow. Same time. Chain will go live. State will be live. You'll be able to call this. Please test this on testnet. Give it a go. We'd love it if people called this right now so that we could have some examples on the chain for testing ourselves before it goes on main. So please try it out. Run through the instructions. Give us some feedback. We want to make this go as smooth as possible. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks
Bye,
all.
everyone. Bye.